Are you concerned and wondering if your elderly loved one should still be driving? The decision to take away the keys is fraught with challenges and a lot of apprehension from family members. The ability to drive for seniors is something that is so important to them and allows them to continue to be independent. It could be one of the last things that they have to keep their independence. So having this conversation is going to be met with a lot of resistance and could even lead to a lot of anger for that senior to be told that they can't drive anymore. And the stakes are high. Finding the right balance to discuss this conversation with that person with the most compassion that we can, while also ensuring their safety, is challenging. I'm Jennifer Benjamin, the owner of Family First Home Companions, and in today's video, I'm going to give you practical tips on how to have the conversation about taking away the keys in the most caring and compassionate way you can. Before we get into talking about how to take away the keys, let's talk about some of the signs that it's time to take away those keys. Number one, frequent close calls or accidents. When your loved one is describing near misses, fender benders, or any recent traffic accidents, even minor incidents can indicate that they're starting to have more difficulty driving. And we really want to pay very close attention to these small incidents because this might be leading up to a bigger incident. So anything like I've heard clients tell me or families tell me that their loved one was pulling into the driveway and hit the garage, or they sideswiped something that they didn't see. Those minor incidents that can be leading up to a bigger accident that we really want to watch for. So frequent close calls or accidents is a sign that your loved one's driving abilities are starting to diminish. Number two, difficulty with vision or hearing. Is your loved one having more trouble with their vision or having some hearing loss? In order to drive safely, we all need our senses fully alert and functioning properly, or at least with the assistance of a hearing aid or glasses. So vision or hearing difficulties can lead to things like struggling to see road signs, not reading the dashboard correctly, or even not hearing emergency vehicles. Impaired vision or hearing is going to significantly increase the risk of driving errors. So if your loved one is having more difficulty with vision or hearing, that's going to be another sign that they may not be able to continue to drive. Number three, confusion or getting lost. I remember when my grandmother was starting to have difficulty with driving, and she called us one day from a parking lot and said that her car wasn't working and that she was trying to get it started and it wasn't working properly. Sure enough, after we went to where she was located and looked at the car, it turned out that she didn't remember how to turn the car on the right way. She wasn't using the ignition properly. This was a clear sign to us that she should no longer be driving. If your loved one is getting lost, they're forgetting how to use the car properly, they're forgetting how to use functions or features of the car, or they're just in general becoming confused while driving, this is a clear sign that cognitively they may be having some decline and it's no longer safe for them to drive. So any kind of confusion, getting lost while on the road is going to be another sign that your loved one's ability to drive is diminishing. Number four, slow reaction times and poor judgment. delayed responses to traffic signals, trouble making quick decisions. Maybe they are no longer judging distances correctly. These are issues with slow reaction times and or no longer having good judgment with driving. And this is going to be another clear sign that it's way too dangerous for your loved one to continue driving. Sometimes we have clients that use walkers and their lower body has weakness and they want to continue to drive, but the reaction time to hit the brake may be quite delayed for them because of that lower body weakness that they experience. So this would be another example of how a person's ability to drive could be affected by their physical health or a change in their cognitive health. And driving is no longer something that is safe for them. Number 5, physical limitations. So trouble turning the steering wheel, trouble looking back over their shoulder to see what's behind them. They may not have great vision that might cause blind spots. So physical limitations will certainly be another sign that your loved one may no longer be able to drive. So we want to watch out for those physical impairments, again, whether it's sensory loss with vision or hearing, lower body weakness. They may have not so good range of motion with their arms, with their neck, and these are all going to be ways that limit their ability to drive safely on the road. So I've gone over the signs that your loved one should no longer be driving. Now, here are some tips on how to go about having that conversation and to actually take away the keys. Number 1, choose the right time and place. To have this conversation, it is going to be a very serious conversation that you want to have, so you want to pick a calm and private setting to discuss this. We want to avoid initiating this conversation during a stressful time, or maybe you don't want to have this conversation in front of certain people. Maybe you don't want to do it as a group discussion with your other family members, but instead just starting out one-on-one, let's sit down, let's have a cup of coffee, and let's talk about this. So choose the right time and place to get started. You also want to get in touch with your loved one ahead of time and let them know that you would like to discuss the driving and pick a day and time that will work best for both of you. This will give that person a little heads up on what you want to talk about, and it won't be something that gets brought up out of nowhere and they're kind of caught off guard and they may not be as open and receptive to hearing what you have to say. Number 2, express concerns, love, and emphasize safety. This is coming from a place in you that is from a place of concern and love. You don't want your loved one to be harmed. You certainly don't want to see them in a situation where they end up harming others. And so expressing that you love them and starting with I statements like, Mom, I really love you and I want you to be safe and I always have your best interest at heart. That is a way to express that this is coming from a good place. While it's certainly not easy to take the keys away and to stop driving, you're doing it for a greater cause, which is to keep your loved ones safe and to keep others safe on the road. Stress the importance of safety. The last thing we want is for our loved ones to get into a very bad car accident and be harmed or injured, or worse, they could die from these horrible accidents. We also want to stress the safety of others. The last thing you want or that your loved one would want is to potentially harm other people, children, families. These are stories we hear about in the news, and they're heartbreaking. And we want to get ahead of it, and we want to make sure that our loved one is safe and that they understand that there is a serious safety concern here. So emphasize that the goal is to prevent accidents and ensure everyone's well-being. Number 3, highlight specific concerns. Share specific incidents that you've observed that cause you to be concerned. This can be those close calls that your loved one had. They almost got into an accident, or maybe they had those fender benders or sideswiped something. Make sure that you're discussing these specific incidents and showing the facts that these are reasons to be concerned that driving is no longer safe. Concrete examples are going to help your loved one understand that something needs to change, and that you're not just bringing this up in general for them to stop driving because it's not safe. There are real examples as to why this is now a problem. So be specific and highlight those concerns so that your loved one understands why this is a problem. Number 4, consult a professional. The doctor could be a great resource for you in having this conversation with your loved one to stop driving. A neurologist specifically could be a specialist that will evaluate your loved one's cognitive functioning as well as their driving skills. And there are neurologists that will specifically test for driving skills. So sometimes a loved one may not understand when it's coming from their own family members that it's time to stop driving. But if a professional or a doctor is telling them that it's time to stop driving, that might be reason to pause and listen to what they're being informed about. So consider a professional, a doctor, a neurologist that could get involved and possibly evaluate your loved one or just provide their opinion that it's no longer safe to drive. Number 5, direct action. So if you have tried to have this conversation about taking away the keys, and you've brought in a professional or a doctor to share their opinion, you've tried to discuss your concerns and emphasizing safety, but your loved one is still not understanding and still not willing to stop driving, this is where there are times when you may need to take direct action. And what that's going to entail is sometimes it's simply therapeutic lies. Therapeutic lies would be things like, sorry mom, the car is no longer working, it's out of commission, battery is shot, and the repairs are going to be way too expensive. The car is just no longer working. That would be an example of a therapeutic lie that is going to basically tell your loved one that the car just doesn't work. And we do this because we're balancing, right? We're balancing the safety of our loved one, potentially other people, along with, should I tell a lie? When it comes down to it, yes, the lie is certainly going to be necessary and justified, because especially if your loved one is experiencing dementia and having a hard time understanding this concept, the lie is going to become necessary. They may never understand that they can't drive anymore. They may never accept the whole idea that they can't drive anymore. But yet, the issue is still at hand. It's not safe for them to drive. So we do have to lie to basically for the greater cause, that is safety. Hiding the keys can be another strategy where you have to take direct action. Your loved one is not safe on the road, they could potentially harm other people, and having access to that car is going to be an issue. So hiding the keys is another strategy I've seen families do so that there isn't the temptation to drive, first of all, and when they do want to drive, they're now not going to have access. I've also seen families communicate that the car needs maintenance. Maybe the cost of renewing insurance is going to be way too high. They may even go as far as to remove the battery from the car so that they completely disable the vehicle. Again, this is taking direct action because the conversation didn't go as well and that person did not understand or agree. And we still have a major safety issue at hand that we cannot allow to take place. So removing the battery, disabling the car is absolutely justified in order to protect your loved one and other people from a very unsafe driving situation. So taking these steps to be more direct is necessary sometimes so that you are protecting everyone's well-being and no longer allowing an unsafe situation to continue. For more information or to schedule your free in-home assessment, visit FamilyFirstHomeCompanions.com.